What is going on, guys? It's Wednesday, and that means it's paintball question time. The best way to store paintballs, upgrades for Azodin Blitz 3s, and masks for people with big heads. Tristan Doucette asked, what would be the best way to store paint to make it last? So there's a few things we should take into consideration when trying to keep leftover paintballs or making stuff last a long time. First, let's talk about what conditions can make paintballs go bad. There's two major things that can make paint go bad: temperature and humidity or dryness in the air. So temperature-wise, if the paint gets really hot, it can get like soft and squishy, and you don't want that because it just bounces off everything. And then if it gets really cold, it will get just really brittle. And big temperature changes, like say 100 degrees to like 50, and then back and forth over and over again, can make that paintball expand, then contract, expand and contract, and just over and over, and then like flexes or stretches out the shell. And that's what causes dimples, because you're adding shell, you're stretching that shell, and then it contracts again, and there's nowhere for that leftover shell to go. So it just makes a divot in the ball. And then humidity or lack of humidity. If it's too humid, that moisture can get pulled into the paintball and then make it really hard. And then if there's not enough humidity or the air's really dry, that moisture can get pulled out of the paintball and then make it really brittle. So the best way to like long-term store paint is make sure it's in a Ziploc bag in a temperature controlled room. So ideally, if you have leftover paint, put it in Ziploc bags so it's airtight, so it can't get that humidity or dry air in there. And then room temperature. So I'll say room temperature is gonna be 85-ish to 65. That's probably ideal temperature for storing paintballs. A good tip is use a paintball caddy, like this thing right here. And it just makes loading pods and hoppers way easier. Another good thing about the ball hauler or paint caddy is that you can store extra paint inside of it. So at the end of the day, you have leftover paint. Rather than like wadding it up in a bag or keeping it in pods or something, you can just put it in the caddy and then let it sit around and use it next time you go play paintball. So that caddy's airtight, and it makes a nice little vessel to like just store leftover paint. But do note, even if you store everything perfectly, we're gonna say average shelf life for paintballs is only gonna be 3 to 4 months. Yeah, sometimes you can use stuff older than that, but average is gonna probably be 3 to 4 months. So don't expect to play paintball and then come 4 years later, try to use that paint again. It's likely gonna be bad. So room temperature, airtight. Armando Chairez, new to paintball, bought the Blitz 3 as a starter. Is there any way to upgrade these guns? If not, what would be a good setup? Something more quiet. So for the most part, I think that no matter what price range we look at guns now, they're done. There's not much you're gonna be able to do to any of these, whether it's the Blitz 3, like the ETHA 2, a CS1, whatever it is, they're kind of finished. There's not many upgrades you can get. But in general, there aren't any different valves or bolts or boards or any of that stuff that's gonna really make the Blitz 3 any better. It is what it is. It's a Blitz 3. The only thing that I'm constantly recommending to people, or even kind of thinking about recommending to people, is barrels. Having an aftermarket better barrel than the barrel that comes on the Blitz 3 is probably gonna be the only thing that I would ever buy. And then an inexpensive good barrel, like the CP one-piece barrels that are only 30 bucks, and they're very good for $30. Yes, there's better barrels, but those barrels are like $200, so buying a $200 barrel kit for a $160 paintball gun just seems crazy to me. So maybe look at CP one-piece barrels, and that will help accuracy a little bit, and definitely gonna be a lot quieter than the stock barrel. And if in the future, if you want a quieter paintball gun, maybe something that doesn't kick as much, take a look at the Proto Rise or the Mini GS. Both of those guns are gonna be considerably quieter, kick less, shoot faster, more air efficient. Kind of everything's gonna be better about that Proto Rise or Mini GS. Just look at this and see what I think about the Mini GS. The Mini GS's are built really well, they're super reliable and very easy to fix. And the Mini GS is just solid aluminum. So it just kind of feels better in your hands, and I do think that build quality also contributes to increased reliability. Mitchell J, what mask would you recommend for someone with a big head? Let's say masks that I wouldn't recommend for people with big heads. The Dye i4, the Dye i5, the JT Flex 8, any of the Virtue masks. Yeah, those ones. Yeah, so some of those masks are just gonna be very, very narrow. I think any of the masks that just look like they're small are small, like the Virtue or Dye masks. They're just very, very narrow. So if you have like a big old head or it's really wide, take a look at JT Pro Shield, JT Pro Flex, Empire EVS, Empire E-Flex, and probably the V-Force Profiler. Those are all masks that I really like too. Masks that I've owned. They all breathe really well, they're comfortable, they come with good lenses. Yeah, those are gonna be my recommendations for big-headed people. But as always, I'm always saying people should try these on. I think with other products like hoppers and guns and stuff, you can kind of get an idea feature-wise and like how stuff's gonna work. But with masks, man, you gotta wear the thing on your head all day long. So getting a mask that's comfortable to you, that breathes well, fits your head well, is important. So as always, I'm gonna recommend going to a local paintball store or the paintball field, trying stuff on, asking someone if you could borrow their mask or at least kind of mess with it. Maybe put it on your head a little bit. I do know people are kind of weird about people trying on their masks, but give it a shot, try it on, see how they work. Paintball question time, guys. That's all we have today. Do leave a comment below if you want your question to be featured on this paintball question time video. If not, check out more paintball question times right there. The Paintball Ruin My Life store, which hopefully we have new products in kind of soon here. And hit that circle button and subscribe for more paintball knowledge.